This is Laura, and at 57 years old, she's living a life she simply cannot afford, resulting in a massive amount of debt. So that is $710,000. Not only that, but she's close to retirement age and has little to nothing to show for it. Any other form of saving account?
No.
Retirements?
No.
At this age, people assume that you have it all together, but this story proves otherwise. Can I help Laura, or is it just too late? Welcome to Finance Action, the show where we take action. My name is Romain, and today I'm with Laura. Laura, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Romain. Thank you.
Excellent. Laura, let's look at your profile. You're 57 years old. You're a mother of two. You currently live in Long Beach, California. You work as an interior designer, but also primarily as a home care giver. Is that right?
Yes, that covers it all.
Excellent. Looking at the way you've rated your personal finances, from chilling to Mayday, my dear friend Laura, you rated yourself as...
No.
Yikes. So here we are speaking with hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt in a kind of an unstable situation. Laura, tell me a little bit about kind of what's going on here.
Well, as you said, I'm a home care worker. My son Elijah is, he needs constant care. And lately I've been thinking about what's going to happen when I'm gone. And how is he going to be taken care of?
Excellent. So as you will discover in this story, a couple of decades ago, you gave birth to a son that's suffering from severe autism, and you had to take care of him alongside your husband, but this has put some financial pressure. And on top of that, my dear friend, I see some recent spending and debt that I would probably not want to see at this time. And so that led you today to find yourself in a pretty precarious financial situations. But as you know, guys, we always find a solution. So follow along as we dive more into the story. So Laura, living in California, in a way, on the picture, kind of the perfect life with the house, the pool. But behind that, it's not all rainbow. Walk me through kind of what has been the tribulations.
I think a lot of it is probably from the stress of having 24-hour care for my son, who's an adult. He's 25 now. And just caring for him and not really being able to go out and make a living or make as much money as I would like. But I do get, money for caring for him, and there is support that way. But to not have any savings for him in the future, that's probably what weighs the heaviest.
So looking at kind of the tribulation of your life, at around 30 years old, you give birth to a son, which for the first 2 years or so, you pretty much didn't know what was going on. Walk me through what happened at this time.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So Elijah had some delays, and we could, recognize that. And then we right away wanted support from our regional center and the school district. And we reached out, and we had a lot of help and support for him. But then I had my second son within 22 months. And once Logan came, I was in the home. There was no escaping. So it was very hard.
Pretty much your life was put on halt.
Yes. To care for, a special needs and a new infant.
Now you realize that your son is diagnosed with this. How do you feel?
Oh, it goes from being overwhelmed and exhausted to being, I guess sometimes frustrated that, and sometimes just sad, I guess. And I laugh, but I'm not laughing inside. It is overwhelming, and I think possibly the financial mess is maybe due to that overwhelming frustration and the burden of what am I going to do? What is he going to do?
Thank you for kind of bringing this, as this was really the pivot that completely altered the trajectory of your life with your husband. As we'll dive together now into more of the specifics of your finances, looking at your income and your assets. You work as a home care giver,
Right.
supported by the state of California, which is nice, guys. If you have a son or a daughter in need, you can apply for that, and the state will provide you with form of compensation that is not taxed.
Right.
On your side, looking at your recent statement, it is nice to see that you're bringing about $2,700 non-taxable every 2 weeks. This is pretty nice. That brings your total income to about $70,600 per year on that front. But you also have another stream of income, which refers to your interior design business. Tell me more. A brief apartheid, guys, to speak to you, the entrepreneur at heart, someone that maybe wants to start a side hustle or a small business and you don't really know which business banking partner to use. My personal recommendation is Relay, and they're a sponsor of today's video. Relay has a very unique approach, as they allow you to build up to 20 checking accounts per business, and this allows you to pretty much segment your expenses using a profit-first methodology. So think about allocating money for taxes, owner's compensations, payroll, and they allow you to make it ultra easy as you think about working with a team, scaling, or even managing your finance with additional platforms. Think like QuickBooks, which is also personally my favorite. Not only that, but they have no fees, no minimum balances. It's pretty much the go-to when it comes to my small business finances. If you're in this mindset and you want to get started, I encourage you to check out the link in the description below. Thank you so much, Relay, for being a partner on the channel. And now let's get back to our content.
It stems from when I was a contractor doing wallpaper, and I expanded that into doing more home design projects. And not only that, but the homes that we've lived in and resold at a profit. And that has been sort of my solution to like get out of debt or refinance or do things like that. Back to the debt.
All right, we'll see how that resulted today.
I know. I don't think it's really working.
So how much would you say that brings extra per year?
I would say between 8 and 10,000.
Extra per year that you're bringing?
Yes.
Excellent. So that brings your current income, Laura, at 57 years old, at 79,540, or 6,500 net or so per month. Is that right?
Yes.
Looking at how that compares against the median in the United States for your age bracket between 55 and 64 years old, 50% make more, 50% make less. The median is at 59,000. So you're making about $20,000 more, but also you live in one of the most expensive cities on earth, in California, which is heavily taxed, although you're not being taxed on your income. And so we're also going to include your husband, which I believe works as a teacher.
Yes.
With an income of about, how much does your husband make?
Gross?
Yes.
92.
92,000. So I'm going to see how I'm going to bring kind of both components into questions, but for now, I want to see you as an individual, okay?
Okay.
Because I believe also that for the most part, you guys do share accounts, but those are your accounts here. So let's see about this. Right now, on your checking account, you're showing a balance of 2,319. Okay. You also have another checking account, almost like a higher saving account with 559. So that is your liquid money. Okay. Liquid wise, you sum to about 2,878. Any other form of saving account?
No.
Retirements? No. Not at this time. But you do have a car?
Yes.
What do you drive?
2014 Hyundai Santa Fe.
How many miles?
120 some thousand miles.
Does it work well?
Yes, beautiful car.
The car value on this right now is 6,614. I know, it's a little bit sad.
Did you put the tech package in there? Because I
took, and that is
warmers.
private party by my dear friend. Yes, it's just,
Oh, no.
that's private party on it. That's
So I
a little
owe
bit
more.
surprising. You do own slightly more on it. You're
Yeah.
a little bit underwater. We'll be speaking on that depth front.
Okay.
What's very nice to know as well is you have a house with a pretty big mortgage. But you do own a house located in Long Beach. We won't disclose the address. Upon my research, it is currently valued at around $853,000. That is a 50-50 share with you and your husband
Right.
against a pretty steep mortgage. So equity yourself, positive equity that you have on that house is about $117,000. That is you as an individual. Okay? But my dear friend, I'm going to have to ask you this difficult question, is how at 57 years old, today you tell me that you have zero for retirement. What's going on?
I guess from living in a paradigm of never having enough and then looking at it and going, well, wait a minute. If it's the average, I'm above average on the
median, but that's
median-
general United States. You're
United
looking
States.
at other states that are making much less.
right.
But still, you guys were, double salary.
But it's not mine. And we've always, even though we're on the count together, we've both had our autonomy as far as finances.
How is your relationship with finances with your partner? Are you guys pretty open-minded? Is it a common topic?
Yes, we're pretty good. There's been some, a little friction as far as like solar panels, things like that.
Okay, we'll be speaking on this. There's quite a bit of debt that's stacked up from it.
Oh, right.
But what's the do you guys speak openly about where you stand right now and where he stands? Is it an ongoing discussion?
Yes. He was very excited about me meeting Romain and, and talking about this.
If you like this type of content, we invite you to like and subscribe as this helps this channel tremendously. Thank you.
So, full disclosure, we both know that there needs to be some sort of a change.
There needs to be some change.
Yeah.
Yes. There needs to be some change. The amount of assets and equity that you have right now, it's tricky for you to go as an individual through retirement. So now if we have to account for, the care of your son, we need to shift things. Huh?
Yes.
As we look at some of your expenses and your debt, let's jump right in. How much is your mortgage?
$3,000.
$3,000, because you guys are carrying a mortgage of about $620,000 on it.
Yes.
Okay. So you guys are positive on that house. That's very nice, to the value of $233,000. And that has been pretty much a succession of flips over your life. I believe that you've flipped
Right.
ups and downs, and that kind of lent today in that amount of equity on you. So that's not a bad amount. We'll account for that. I'm recording. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different, actually 11 forms of debt. Let's look together at your car debt. So you own on your car $7,492. But what's very nice to see, Laura, is the interest rate is at 2.9%. How, in this current economy, when everybody is paying 10% or so on interest on their car, you're able to pull this at this price? What's going on?
It's a mamma mia.
Oh, okay, I see. So you're using your mother as a kind of a, what's going on here?
She's very financially savvy.
Okay.
I don't know why she raised a daughter who's not quite as savvy.
So you're pretty much kind of borrowing off her equity at the bank.
Yes,
Giving
I
you
believe
a
so.
pretty
Yeah.
premium. So it's a kind of a...
She's also a teacher. She's, a retired teacher.
Excellent. So she's kind of a backdoor personal loan aspect that gives you premium interest. That's good to see.
I mean, she does that for all her kids. She's amazing.
Excellent. I'm glad to see that. Now, your dear mother cannot help you when it comes to your credit cards. Laura, what's going on? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different credit cards, and we're going to go from the lowest to the highest.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. You have one with Kohl's, about $200. Next one, Lowe's, $600.
Right.
Next one, Shop Your Way. What is that? $700.
I don't know. It used to be Sears. I think I've had that one the longest, but that's also a travel card.
I
That
see.
one in the Bonvoy.
I see, yeah. You also have Walmart, $900. Home Depot, $1,200. And the biggest one, Bonvoy, $3,000. My dear friend, this is full travel. What's going on $3,000 of debt on that card? What's happening here?
Well, that one in particular, we went to watch my husband's godson play in the Cape Cod League. We were so proud of him, and we are so proud of him.
That's
the young
excellent.
people.
Okay,
Yes.
but $3,000?
I know.
Why? You knowing that those interest on those cards is over 30%. What led you to make that decision? I want to understand the root of it. Where are you at behind
It
this?
was purely enthusiasm and sort of, I don't know, we were super excited and
This can no longer exist right
Okay.
now. Okay, because
bon voyage.
Bon voyage. Yeah, there you go. Because I'm also seeing a pool addition on your house. How much did you guys spend on that pool?
90 something.
$90,000. When was that?
2023 or 2022.
How much do you still carry on this?
Well, he has a 10,000 that he's taken down, and I had a 10,000 that I was taken down. But we paid all of it, the majority of it.
You paid it cash?
70,000. Yes, from a refinance.
That
In
is
2022.
why. Because I see that the house equity, I see that you guys bought the house for less than what's currently owned on the loan, on the mortgage. So you're leveraging house equity from the house to build a $90,000 pool that you're still carrying a balance of about $3,000. But if this was the only house improvement, I know there have been some recent tension financially with your husband for something that you didn't approve. What is that?
The solar.
All right. How much did you
know.
guys spend on that?
I'm guessing 50,000.
You guys do not have only those forms of debt. I believe also that your husband is carrying quite a bit of credit card debt. How much are we speaking?
He said 25,000.
$25,000. Okay. So, with quite a bit of debt and $3,000 on your checking account, we need to shake that boat. I'm looking at your recent spend. And you are enjoying life, my dear Laura. I'm giving you a little bit of hard love, but I need to come this as an intervention, okay?
Yes.
We need to open up
Okay.
and be transparent.
Yes.
About half of the expenses here that I see on your account are for things that I would refer to as, sheet expenses, kind of the sheet counter in a way, those Starbucks,
Oh, no.
Ulta, Bath & Body, Ralph's.
Oh, no.
The biggest one is how do you spend $47 at Crumble Cookie? Twice last month. My friend, how do you spend that amount?
Roman, you've never been there. If you've never had a crumble cookie, have you?
$47 for cookies.
I know. It's true.
I have to bring that to you so you just kind
I
of
know.
have
That is
exposure
not- it's
to
not
it.
even funny. It's
Teleflora,
not.
$87. What is that for? At least it's someone that's not local.
Oh, Teleflora? Oh, as my uncle died.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, that's
we'll
what
account
my
for
dad.
that.
My dad and his uncle, they died within 2 weeks, and so I'm pretty sure that's what that was.
Okay, so I will accept that perfectly with no additional commentary. I apologize on that front, but DoorDash is a different story. $57 at DoorDash. What's going on here? You guys order DoorDash?
That's my son,
Oh, so you're paying for your son?
Logan, my younger son. When my
That's
husband
why
and
a lot
I,
of expenses are for your son too.
yes, it is because he stays home with Elijah so that we can have a date night, and that's pretty rare. I would say 2-3 times a month, maybe. And he gets whatever they want on DoorDash. He doesn't drive.
All right, you're raising some really, really good excuses. I will
know.
account you on that front. You love this Italian restaurant, Domenico's Italian.
No. Are you plugging Domenico's? It has been around for
Domenico's.
70 years, Roman.
Yeah, but every time you're going, like couple times a month, it's $150.
Yeah. It's not cheap, this Italian place. It is really, really good. But I know you're right.
You know, we have also like Krispy Kreme, Macy's. Target, $200. What did you spend on Target last month?
Well, that's groceries too.
You do groceries at Target?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's
Really
better.
good produce, especially the Cerritos one. But
No, better values than this. Huh? I personally love, and I know it exists in LA, grocery outlet.
yeah, it's
Very
fantastic.
good products.
Yeah.
Organic products at 50%. No sponsored. I use them myself all the time. Because
Right.
your groceries are Target, Walgreens. You know your groceries at Walgreens too. That's
I
the
know.
worst. Every time I see someone buying, like produce or anything from Walgreens, I'm like, what the hell? You're paying 30% more than anyone else. Ay, ay, ay. And also quite a bit of vacation.
Yes.
Pleasant Bay Village.
Very expensive.
So, last month, my friend, you spent $7,008.
Oh, my God.
I've made the sum of how much did you spend on things that I account as unnecessaries.
Oh, God.
Okay, are
Tell
you
me.
ready?
Tell me.
4,300.
What?
Because here, I'm not seeing the mortgage on this. So you're not, every single expense here is something, my dear friend, that we cannot justify with $3,000 on your account. And a son that's kind of counting on you. We can no longer afford this lifestyle.
No, when you put it that way, it is so true.
See what I mean? 4,000. And on top of that, I'm not even accounting for the interest that you're paying on all your cards and all your debt. My friend, you almost have, together with your husband, you guys are coming close to about $800 plus $1,000 of debt. A lot of which is very expensive. You're paying on things like 30% on tens of thousands of dollars. And you're telling me that you guys are putting $50,000 solars and a $70,000 pool. The priorities are a little bit off here with no retirement and so on. I need to come this as an intervention. You rate yourself as yikes. I think you're definitely between the yikes and mayday because of your son. Because of
Yes.
your son. Your son
Right.
today needs to take precedence.
No,
I
it's so true.
am okay to understand that your life has been, I would say, challenging in a way. I completely understand that. But and I will account for this as I think about my recommendations for you for date night with your partner. I completely understand that. But here is every single day multiple expenses that to me are not justified. It's $4,000, my friend. $4,000.
I know.
You guys are carrying almost $30,000 of credit card debt. I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna be surprised. How much interest are you paying per month right now? I'm going to be straightforward, is thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars that are being paid towards interest right now. And on top of that, looking at your balance last month, you deposited $6,600, you used $7,000.
Oh,
So
God.
you are losing money on your checking account neither. So this is, something that we need to take care of. Huh? Because right now, if I look at against your checking account, if you continue on that pattern, you have a couple months till you're at zero. No. Huh?
I know. I'm adrift. I feel adrift.
Yep, you guys have moved a little bit too much outside of the line here. What's nice to see though is I do see some other expenses related to what's needed around your son. But how do you feel? Think of it for just a second. Where you at in your mind right now?
I'm with Elijah trying to. I think a lot of those things are
A form of
his-
escapism in a way?
Yes, maybe. And he doesn't ask for anything except for Domenico's, or a birthday, or, these things that he fixates on. And I give in. And instead of being like what you would for a typical child, you would put up the brakes. You would, you'd say, no, we're not having that. Or no, we're not going there. And there's maybe a built-in guilt that because there's money coming in for him, that I should just spend it on him or things that he wants.
Yeah, I mean, it's
even though he didn't book the Pleasant Bay Village.
I know, yeah.
But he really enjoyed it.
It's the $6,000 that you're bringing, and I think in your mind you're like, oh, this money is probably not mine, it's his for me to spend on him. The problem here is them seeing a pattern of spend that is just non-sustainable. That's the problem.
Yes.
If you were 30 years old and I see this, I say, okay, you have time to recover, right? You still have time to recover. But the thing that I don't want to have to say is I don't want you to find you and your husband in a position where you have to rely on your 23 years old son to help and cater for your other son.
Yes.
Because that's right now, that's the way things are profiling. Because the financial situation that you're in today is challenging enough to sustain you guys as just a retired, soon-to-be couple.
Right.
And I'm going to bring this to your eyes as we transition together now into our next segment, which looks at the money case. All right, and now we are back together looking at the money case, which is going to serve as an intervention.
Okay.
So today, my friend, I've calculated for you the total amount of debt that you guys are accountable for. Okay? So that is $710,892. Okay. A lot of which is the mortgage. Well, you guys are building equity on that house, although you've made some purchases that today are quite difficult to justify, notably the solar panel at $50,000. What the hell? If you guys are thinking about solar panels at home, know that the break-even point on it is between 6 to 10 years. 6 to 10 years to justify that investment. So you guys going to be in that house for that long. I mean, there is a possibility. For now, it's for sure we cannot move. But if it was just it, I'm going to bring this very straightforward to you. Today, my friend, without accounting for the interest that you are spending on the house, how much money do you think you spend per month on purely interest? What do you think?
I don't know.
All right. Well, it's not $100. That would be too nice, right?
Yeah. No.
It's not $500. That would also be too nice. My dear friend, on a monthly basis, just because of the trip to Bonvoy to see the other guy playing, sports and so on, all of that, you are spending per month $853
God.
of interest. Laura, this does not account for the $4,300 that is spent on what I refer to as the shit counter. $5,000 disappears on nothing. You're not building assets. You're not building anything for your son. So what I'm going to do, because this is an intervention, I'm going to have you hold this money for just a minute. And visualize this. This is what you're throwing, not purchasing anything. This is just bank fees. Right to the garbage.
Right in there. Oh my God.
Okay. Are we ready to take action? Are we ready to change? And are we ready to think about your son? Yes.
Yes.
Follow me along, as this is going to be a very unique way to approach finance recommendations. What would I do if I was in your shoes? And your case was really complex. I had to really dive into myself and think, okay, what would I do right now? And this is going to be tailored for you and just for you, Laura. So right away, I'm going to tell you that mathematically, as I mentioned previously, you're spending $4,300 on crap, unnecessary. Some of which is to cater to your son's need, which I can understand. But the problem is as long as I'm understanding this in concept, the remaining of your finances and your situation does not allow for that luxury to allocate that much amount of money towards his needs. So we need to build some frontiers. How do I define a frontier? Is I'm going to give you a number. And that number is $1,000. $1,000 is the amount of money that you can allocate to the fun aspect to cater to your son. And this may seem low, but I don't want you to see it from this perspective. Instead of spending on the Domino's of the world and so on, or whatever, the Italian restaurants, the crumbles, $50 and all of that.
Yes.
What you're doing is you're not preventing him from having the benefit of using that money. Instead of using it on short-term rewards that will convert to nothing, you're going to invest that money for him. Okay? You're going to start building processes and a structure that will allow him to benefit from the decision as the primary caregiver for him today. So I'm going to tailor for a little bit here as to what can you do if you have a son that is facing a disability. Well, there are definitely different things that exist in the world of finance. Number one, there is something that is referred to as a special need trust. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Do you guys have that in place?
No.
Okay. A special need trust is a way for you to set aside money for your son without affecting his benefits that he will have over the course of his life, including supplemental social security or Medicaid, okay? This is money that you can save for his behalf. There are really two types of trust. There is a first party. This is where, for example, you were to decease and it's for inheritance and so on. And then there is third party. This is applicable to you as a parent, as a close, immediate family, okay? That's number one. Number two is we are going to think about opening what is referred to as an ABLE account. Have you heard of that?
No.
An ABLE account is what is referred to as achieving a better life experience account. And what this is a form of invested saving account that is tax advantageous for a son in disability that allows you to bring in up to $17,000 per year on that account. And you can max it out up to $100,000. So what you're doing is you're investing for your son under very tax advantageous conditions so that he can have a little bit of money and a lump sum on his side, knowing that his money that you guys are working towards now and receiving is not spent on crumble cookie, but it's spent on things that he's going to have to need in his future. The third thing that I want you to start looking into is life insurance. You guys do not have life insurance. And that to me is very, very risky. Life insurance is really applicable to your case. I wouldn't generally recommend it, for like 30 years old, although you can play with term life insurance and so on. We can dive into this later on. But in your case, to me, you look like a great case for what we refer to as whole life insurance, also known as universal life insurance. And why am I selecting this one? Is because the terms remain in place as long as you're paying the premium. So what's going to happen is you're going to pay monthly premiums. You guys are in an elderly age, but you're not super old neither. So you guys are going to have a decent price on it. And if something was to arise, then your son would be able to benefit from that. You guys have no insurance today. If something arises to you and your husband, your son is going to be stuck on supplemental social security at just less than $2,000 per month. And that's it. Basta.
Right.
He's going to have a little bit of equity that you guys have in your house. But I mean, in full transparency, equity-wise, you guys at around $230,000 as a couple together. That's it, huh?
Right.
Speaking about your equity as you as an individual, Laura, as you now, I'm speaking to you, just you. Something arises, I don't know. And you have to rely on just yourself. With the amount of money that you have right now, if you were to retire at 65, you could only be able to withdraw $8,000 per year. You only have $8,000 per year that you can withdraw from your retirement, assuming the funds that you have right now, if you were to invest it today. Are you going to be able to live off $8,000 per year?
Oh my God.
No. So now that we are thinking about putting a plan for your son, this is the number that I want you to think. This is as to what I refer to as the gold number. This is the number. And to you, it is $4,000.
Okay.
$4,000 is mathematically, because I looked into all of your statements, you're not even paying for gas on this. Literally nothing here. The only thing that you're paying for the family is Winco, a little bit of Costco, and that's it. Everything else is crap. Okay? So, as an individual, I want you to stand up to the plate. The goal number is $4,000. What are you going to do with that money? Immediately, I want you to, number one, open accounts for your son and just start putting a little bit of money. I want the action more than the amount to take place right now. Your priorities, though, are somewhere else. Right. You're carrying some of the most expensive debt that exists in the United States, which is credit card, for which you're paying, as I mentioned, $800 a month of interest. So you're going to start tackling your credit card debt through what we refer to as debt avalanche, okay? You're going to be paying your credit card starting from the highest interest first. Now, what's nice about you, in credit card debt in total, it's about $8,400 or so. Your husband also carries about $25,000, but together you guys need to put a plan to take care of that debt ASAP. Okay. There is absolutely nothing in my mind and in any financial word that justifies you guys taking solo at $50,000 when you're paying thousands of dollars per year on debt that you're not even using or leveraging, and it's destroying you little by little. So this concept of credit card debt should not even exist. This concept of going $3,000 deep on a soccer game when there is $2,000 on your account or whatever a game it is should not exist.
Right.
Find alternatives. Find other ways. You guys today are in a tough financial situation. I am going to be harsh. And I'm going to say right now, if I was to rank from 0 to 100, where's your financial situation? I would probably rank you at a 27. So you're in the bottom 25%. You don't have anything ready for your son yet. $4,000. You're going to take care of your debt. It's going to take you about 2 months or so to take care of your credit card debt. Basta. You're going to feel a little bit of breathing already. On top of that, you're not going to longer having to pay for all that crazy interest.
Yes.
Hopefully you're able to convince your husband that, hey, we need to raise the alarm right now. That's why I am still, because I understand your emotion. I understand the person that you are, Laura, accounting for $250 per month for the date with you and your husband. $250 is not just the date, it's how much you need to also spend on your other son to take care of them when you guys are out. That is no longer the hundreds of dollars that you guys are spending out. So you have $1,000 for your son, $250 for you. That's what I refer to as for you. So you and your husband.
Okay.
Every other cent is going towards paying that debt. Because in a way, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I thought at some point about considering bankruptcy for one of the two units, where we would transition ownership of the house. One of them would take over the credit card debt and so on and file for bankruptcy. I don't want this to happen.
Ugh.
But the question did cross my mind. So you're coming here with expenses and groceries at Walgreens and Target when there is a little bit of bankruptcy behind my mind. But the story is not all down, because what's nice about your case is, as a contrast to many other individuals that come to this show, you have safe, expected, and recurrent income. What does that mean? Is that every month you know that the government is going to pay you $6,000 or so. So you have a lot of money to play with. And what is referred to as safe money. Safe money is a massive advantage. So you have that for you. And so play it right by taking care of your debt, allocating towards your son. I would say about $2,000 or so of that money should go towards your son. Okay? 2,000 or so should be coming towards you, because right now, retirement, we have nothing. That is opening a Roth IRA. Okay? Opening potentially a brokerage account, because you're going to want to max out your Roth IRA at $7,000 per year. Do not get engaged right now into real estate investments. You guys are so borderline. Something arise, I mean, liquid-wise, you have $3,000 in front of you. You know? So we don't want to have to rely on that forever. You're going to have to build an emergency fund with potentially a partner that I like to enjoy, that is recourse to as public.com. They have a very nice high-yield saving account. And what I'm seeing, this is my forecast, this is my 4C. It's going to take you about 15 months to get back afloat. For 15 months, you have a discussion with your husband. You present what I'm about to write to you in paper, everything. And you guys flip the story. What is nice, as I mentioned, is it's not over. You guys still have a shot. If you continue in that line, you're done. Kaput. I give you only a couple months, and then it's over. So you have a shot. Today is a perfect time to take shot at it. I'm very glad that you came in today.
I'm dog paddling.
And you're going to make it. You are going to make it. What are your thoughts when I tell you this? How do you feel?
Well, it was in the back of my mind all the time to do these things, to take these steps. And you know, put it all on a low interest credit card and then pay it off. I just never did it. Now I'm going to do it.
Now you're going to do it, and I'm going to make you accountable for it. So I'm going to call you in a month at the end of every show. We do have a follow-up. I'm going to call you in a month. And the first question I'm going to ask you is, have you saved $4,000 this month? Have you opened an account for your son? Have you started to think about consolidating your credit cards into lower balances?
Yes.
So, have you also discussed with your husband? Because him going forward with a $50,000 solar panel tells me that he probably doesn't know what the hell is going on neither. Any final words?
This year, I've learned that the recent passing of my father, that you're not around your whole life, and you got to plan for the future. And my son, he really needs special care, and he's going to need it when I'm gone. And this all does seem ridiculous and impulsive, and I can't believe that I didn't do anything sooner. And, you know, I guess this year, because the passing of my father, and, you know, he didn't have anything. He didn't have any savings and nothing to leave his kids. But, you know, all of us are, you know, able-bodied people working, and my son does not have that luxury. All he has is me. And like you said, that is a great metaphor. I'm dog paddling, and I'm, you know, floundering out in this ocean of debt, and I need to get a life preserver, or just get a life with my spending, and don't guilt myself into thinking it's for him, or that, you know, the future is for him, and for my other son too. Because
exactly, I'm not telling you don't spend on your son. I say don't spend on a short-term outcome that generates nothing for his future. You have that authority on this. You have that decision-making aspect that he's counting on you for that.
Right.
And in a way, with you allowing that, you are, and this is going to be harsh, but you're hurting his future.
Yeah. I'm letting him down.
So, I have something for you. This is bracelets that is made in France that I want you to wear, okay?
It's fantastic.
And just think about the discussions that we had together. This, you never have to take it off. So that when you think about actions or think, you can look at it and say, hey, you know, does this align with my plan that I have? Does this align with what we've discussed? This is this is something for you to remember the discussion that we had today, and you can carry this for years. And so I would like to offer one to you.
Thank you.
And I will also give one to your son as well if he's interested in wearing one potentially, so that you both have
it is a reminder.
something to think of together.
And it's the future. But
right.
I thank you so much. I have so much gratitude today. I really do.
I appreciate it.
I feel like you did. You threw me a life preserver, a financial one.
Excellent. Guys, thank you so much for coming on the show, Laura. Thank you guys for following along through this interesting journey. We invite you to support the channel by liking and subscribe. We see you in another video. Until then, I see you next time. À bientôt.
Hello, Laura. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm excited to speak to you. I know it's been a little bit since we've spoken together. Tell me, I mean, you remember when we discussed together, you had the goal of about $4,000. That was the amount to save for your son, for you to pay back some of their credit card debt. Where are you at right now?
Yes.
Did you pay some of that credit card?
Well, no, I didn't. Like I said, we paid off the one loan, or I did, for the pool,
Okay.
and that now is zero.
Yeah, that was $3,000 or so. Nice.
Yeah. But that was coming out of the account every month. I do have access to an account
Okay.
that was put aside for consolidation of all my credit cards.
Okay. As we've spoken together, you were spending quite a bit on, unnecessary expenses. Have you been able to
No.
calm that down and kind of speak
yes.
to your son and so on?
Yes, I really have. And he's been great.
Okay. So are you able to put some money on the side? But
Not
still, have you?
yet.
Okay.
Because
What
now
has-
my husband wants me to give him $1,000 a month to go towards everything that he pays. And I tried to negotiate for $500.
Oh, I see. So your husband wants you to help with kind of what's going on around the house and everything.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
mortgage, because you were not paying the mortgage, none of that,
No.
right? But you
No.
were paying the groceries for the family.
Yes. He wanted to put all our money together in one account. What do you think
Okay.
about that? Because I did not want to do that.
So, difficult for me to, I do not know the intricacy of your relationship, but this is what I generally recommend for couples, okay?
Okay.
And you can speak to him about it, because I can understand some of his sentiments. I call it a ratio, okay? And what it is let's say, I'm going to take examples, okay, Laura? Let's say he makes $10,000, okay? And you make $5,000 per month. Instead of paying 50-50, which would be at your disadvantage, you guys are doing it to the ratio of your salary. So he's making twice as much as you. So for your mortgage of $3,000, he's going to be paying $2,000, and you're going to be paying $1,000. So it's impacting both of you guys, not in the amount, but in the percentage that seems fair. I would always recommend you guys to have what we refer to as a couple fund. But you put the money that goes towards groceries, the house, the mortgage, together from that ratio, and that is the couple fund. And money is getting out from it in a fair way. Okay?
So you agree that we could have an amount that's shared?
That's right. You put that amount into a neutral account. It's neither yours, neither his. It's an amount that is needed to sustain the needs of the family. And then with regards to having each of you guys accounts, I still want you guys to have authority on your own money, because otherwise it creates a sense of dependence that can be, challenging and source of conflict. So still have independence towards your money, but I understand him, telling you, hey, I want you to help me contribute on X, Y, and Z. It's fair. My partner, I asked her, hey, this is how much you're making. This is how much I'm making. This is our expenses together that we share. Let's apply the ratios based on our income, and we have that money set in the middle. It's not my money. It's not your money. It's the money that's needed to go towards daily expenses.
I think that's great. I think that's a great compromise.
Hopefully, Laura, you're also setting some good steps for your retirement. You had zero, my friend?
Right.
So retirement is important. Your sons, the able account and so on, all of that is good. You're playing the game and, progressing. if you're not progressing, I can't help everyone. I'm not here to carry people. But if I see you're progressing and so on, I will always answer your questions or give you ideas about what I think works and doesn't work, okay?
Yeah. You're a very positive influence on me. I just want you to know that.
Well, I appreciate
it. It did not fall on deaf ears at all. It was something I really was sort of desperate for, and I felt much better after.
Well, I love to hear that. Laura, we keep in touch. Let me know how it goes on that racial discussion. Keep going strong. Good luck with your 2 children, and we speak again soon, okay?
Oh, yes. Have a great holiday coming up. Take care.
Take care, Laura. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.